Well, hello everybody, Pat Brackenberry here, Crafting Bunny. Just dropped on to give you a quick look at a stamp set I've just been delivered from Stampin' Up from the mini catalogue. This is the new mini catalogue which comes with the celebrations, which are all the freebie items that you can get once you spend £45 or £90. So these are all the gorgeous, lovely freebies that you can purchase for yourself absolutely free of charge. So tonight we're going to have a look at one of the stamp sets I've just received, and that's going to be the Lavender stamp set, the Perennial Lavender. So hopefully if you've got this catalogue, being a Stampin' Up demonstrator or customer, you can get your hands on this beautiful lavender, Perennial Lavender stamp set. And here it is. It comes with all these gorgeous little lovely things. The DSP, you get two stamp sets in this. Once is the painted lavender, the other is the postage, perennial postage. You get these butterfly elements and these gorgeous little gems. So I just happen to have those. So let's start off with the lavender DSP, and here it is. And I have got one that's open, so I can show you very quickly all the gorgeous DSP, and they really are beautiful DSPs. So you get two sheets of these 12 by 12, and you can see I've already been playing with some of these. That's for one of my classes that's coming up in February. So if you're coming to one of my class in February on the 24th, you'll be able to play with some of these beautiful colours. So, I've already made 3 projects ready for it. So this is one piece, that's the other side of it. So I'll show you how on each one, just so you can have a quick look at each one. So there's 12 sheets in total. So this is one of the gorgeous DSPs, and we have feathers on the back of that one. And then we have another DSP, is like that. That's quite clever, that one, because you could cut that diagonally, corner to corner or corner to corner. So that's quite a good one. You could probably get 4 cards out of that one easily by just cutting it in half and cut it in half again, and you'd have 4 different cards out of that one piece of DSP, which is quite a clever way of doing things. And then we've got another piece of DSP. Here we go, look, all these beautiful lavender flowers. And the reverse of that one is gorgeous. Now I know some people like purple, and if that's not a gorgeous colour purple, I don't know what is. You can see very faintly the outlines of all the lavender as well, so that's well worth getting hold of. So another piece we've got, I think this is the final piece, which is, it's the same as the first one that I showed you. So you get 2 pieces of each, so it was that one. So those are the DSPs that you can get. The actual gems are like these. These are the gems, and they come in different shades of purple. You've got a very light purple on this one, a dark purple, and then a sort of like a reddish purple one on this one. So that's quite nice to have on that one. So again, if you're doing my class in February, that's going to be one of the things that you're going to have access to, and you might even have enough to take away with you. So always remember that there's always extras when you come to the class. You don't always get exactly what you need. You might get a few bits more, so you've got some to take away with you, and they don't want to go back in the bag. Always difficult, that one. Okay, so the elements, you get 40 of these beautiful butterflies in this pack. There's 40 in total, so you get a complete sheet, and you will see I have used some of these, so I have 2 left over. So you get 5 butterflies on each sheet. so 40 in total. So, and you can use your blending brushes to colour those as well if you want to. There is a good side and a bad side, so you just need to be aware of that when you're using them, which side's a good side. You can see that they are very cleverly looking like the same, but there is just a very faint difference, and obviously if you want to do your butterfly left or right, you just turn it over, so that's quite clever. And you can, that side is slightly lighter than that side, that's more white, so that's quite a good one just to be aware of. And then you have the Perennial postage. So these are the letters that all the sentiments in here, so you can use all those sentiments in there. And then you have the actual flowers are in here. So, and what I found is if you use that one, stamp it off before you use it in a lighter colour, and then use that one as a darker colour on top of it, it gives you a gorgeous piece of lavender that you can cut out, and you can use the dies to cut each of the lavenders out if you want to. So that's the one. This one is what I'm going to play with today, and I haven't been on for a few days because unfortunately I haven't been too brilliant. I injured my neck, so that hasn't been too brilliant. So that's what we're going to have a go with today. And my freebie on that one was the Softly Sophisticated, which is another stamp set, and that is just literally the polymer stamps in there, but that was free. So normally one of these will retail at about 20 up to £20, sometimes 22, but that was totally free when I purchased the Perennial Lavender suite. So tonight I'm going to use fresh freesia, and I'm going to cut this down. This is going to be a panel. I've got some cards already made up, so these cards are the 21 centimeters by 14, so 14 and a half by 21, and then I'm going to score them at 10. So that's already done, ready to go, and I'm going to cut this at 10 by 14 and a half, and I can get 4 panels out of one sheet. So always be very thrifty when you do your die cutting. So I'm going to cut it at 14 and a half in the first instance on that side, and then I'm going to cut this other piece at 14 and a half as well. So my wastage is going to be fairly minimal. So that is all the wastage that I'm going to have on that one piece, and then I can turn that round and cut that at 10, and then I'm going to cut that one at 10. I'm going to get 4 cards out of one sheet of cardstock. So, and then cut that one at 10, and that one at 10, and again I'd only have one bit of wastage. So out of the whole card stock I've got 4 panels, and my wastage is that plus that. So I think that's quite a fair amount of wastage on that one. So, and then I'm going to cut a panel in the basic white that's going to go on top of that one. I'm just going to grab that because I'm not going to have to grab some fresh cardstock to do that because I've run out of pre-cut ones. So, and I'm just going to measure it to see what size I want to go, because it's going to go on top of this piece. So I'm going to take my ruler and I'm going to just work out that I want that at 9.5, actually perhaps 9, because I want to see some of the border. So 9 centimeters on there. So that would give me a nice little border around the edge, and then going this way I think I'm going to take it down to maybe 13.5. So let's see what I'm going to start at 14, and then I can always trim down. It's always easier to trim off than it is to put back on. So I'm going to do 9 on the short edge, And then I'm going to start with 14 and see if I need how much of a border that's going to give me. Normal rule of thumb is that you take 4 centimeters off each side, each measurement of your card panel. So I just want to check to see how much of a border I'm going to get on that. Yeah, so that's quite a generous border around there, but I think that's slightly less than I want it, so I'm going to take it down to 13.5 and see if that's going to be better. So we just do 13.5. Just remember that you can take off but you can't stick back on, so always a good tip. So that one's better. Ah yes, look, that's a much better, got a much better border on that one. So that's 13.5 by 9. So I'm going to just make the one card, and I will do some bulk cutting in a little while. So with this one I'm going to use an embossing panel, and it's a new one, and again this is a freebie. This comes with the sophisticated softly sophisticated. You get both those for free if you spend £45 on the celebrations. Celebrations only goes up to the end of February, so just bear that one in mind if you're thinking of doing it. So, but you get that that embossing folder as well as that for free. So I'm going to use that, but before I use that I'm actually going to do some blending on with my blending brush. So I want to use the Gorgeous Grape on this one, and this mat is a glass mat that you get free with you when you join at the moment. So, and it's a really great mat because you can emboss on it, you can paint on it, and it all just wipes off with a special cloth that you get with it. So I'm just going to put some ink on my brush, and I'm going to start from the middle. And the reason why I'm going to start from the middle is because I'm going to put a disc in there, so if it comes out a little bit on the heavy side it's not going to be a problem because it won't be seen. But I'm just going to add a bit of colour, and I'm doing this before embossing, and it's much better to do that before embossing. If you emboss set on first and then try and colour this, it doesn't really come out very well. I don't want too much, so I'm just being very careful how much I'm putting on, remembering that when you use a blending brush it actually does work. Press a bit of pressure on it and you get enough ink on your cardstock without overdoing it. So I don't want it to. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do with that, and then I'm going to pop it through the die cutting machine to emboss it. So I'll be back in a shake. So I've just popped that through the die cutting machine to emboss, and that's the effect I've now got. And again, there are two sides you can use. You can, if you want it slightly raised, that's the side to use. If you want it slightly flat, then that's the side to use. So it's up to you which one you use. But you can see that I've blended it beforehand just to give it a better effect when it comes to embossing. So that's the first layer that's going to go on top. And remember I said I don't want to worry too much about that part of the blending, because you won't see that once I've cut out the circles. And I'm just going to cut the circles out on a basic white. I'm going to use to do the circles. So I'll just quickly pop that one, a basic, the layering. We use the layering circles on this one. So here are the layering circles, and I'm going to use one of the scalloped edges on that one. Like that. So I'm going to use that as with basic white. So a bit of basic white, and pop that through the embossing machine again. Here we go. I've just cut out one, but on this one sheet I can probably get one, 2, 3, maybe 4 out of one sheet of white cardstock, so that's quite thrifty. But I am going to use that in this instance to do a bit of stamping, because that's my next one. So I'm just going to pop that to one side, and then I'm going to get my stamps out to do the stamping. So I'm going to show you the technique of layering one on top of the other, so that you get quite a reasonable effect. So I'm going to use these two, and then I can die cut those out. So I'm going to, I want the stem as well, so where's the stem? So let's go for the stem as well. So I'm going to use these with the Gorgeous Grape and also Fresh Freesia ink stuck, and for my stems I think I'm going to use Granny Apple Green. So here we go. So I want 3 flowers, so I'm going to stamp out the stems first, and then because they come with dies this set, I can die cut those out. So this is Granny Apple Green. Okay, so that's the 3 stems for the lavender. And now I'm going to use the Fresh Freesia, and I just want a piece of something to stamp off on, because I don't want the full colour, because otherwise if you have the full colour you're not going to get the benefit of the darker colour. It's going to get lost. So I'm going to start, I'll just show you, that's the full colour, and then that's the slightly lighter colour, so you can see quite a difference between, and I think that will make it look quite nice. So I'm going to stamp off, and then I'm going to stamp this one, that's 2, and that's the 3rd one. So once I've done that, I'm going to take my Gorgeous Grape, and I'm using this, you could call it an infill, but the infill I'm not going to stamp off. I'm going to leave that full strength. You just got to make sure you've got it on the actual, and don't forget, when you're doing stamping, don't push all the way in, just damply, lightly tap on it, and you'll get more than enough ink to do what you want to do. And I'm just going to lay that over the top, like that, and that gives me, come down a bit so it doesn't go too blurry, so you can just see the little flowers and it complements it. And I'm going to do 3 of those. Obviously if you saw this in the flesh, it would probably be a bit better. On a screen it's probably a little bit less effective. Okay, so I'm done with those. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to cut all those elements out using the embossing of the die cuts that come with the stamp set. So I want that one, that one. Yep. Okay, so bear with while I just cut those out. Okay, so I've cut the 3 of these out, and a little bit of a handy tip if you have this set or are considering getting this set is I would suggest when you cut them out you use a bit of low tack just to hold the die in place, because as you can see on this particular one it's moved slightly, so I've got more of a white edge on that side than I would want. So I'm just literally going to trim it up, but a bit of low tack tape on when you're cutting it out would help that. So that one particular one had a little bit extra of white, so I didn't want quite as much white, and if I'm honest that one's going to be trimmed down as well, because that one's got a little bit more white on it than I would want anyway. So I'm just going to trim that down with my snips just to get rid of the amount of white on there. I'm not too worried about the top because I'm going to cover that over with the flower when I add the flower to it. So I'm going to use a bit of glue to glue those together. So put a bit of glue on the top part of the stem. I'm going to over glue it, just a little bit of glue, and I'm going to just put that on top of that, and then just hold them in place for a couple of seconds, and there we've got one done. And then just do the same thing with these two before I move on to the next bit. So I need to decide while I'm doing this is thinking about what sentiment I'm going to put on there. So, and I know in the UK it will be Mother's Day coming up soon. Oh, I think I've stuck the glue on the wrong side. Well, that was rather clever. So I want it on the right side, don't I? Don't want it on the wrong side. Can't glue them together. That's alright. I can sort that out. That's it. I'll just leave that to dry upside down for a second or two, and then I can sort my mistake out. So I could use it as a Mother's Day card. Not quite sure. I want to use one of the choices in the Perennial postage stamps, so let's have a look. So I'm going to put those two there. Just leave those two to dry for a second or two while I decide on what sentiment I'm going to put on there. So the sentiments of that I have to choose from. Oh dear, let's have a look. Simply Marvellous sounds quite good. Happy Mother's Day could be a good one. You Mean the World. I think that one's quite a nice one. And then you can put the Happy Birthday inside. So yeah, actually I like that one. Thank You for Your Friendship's quite a nice one. Yeah, do you know what? I think I'm going to go with that one, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp it on a piece of scrap basic white, and then I can cut it in half and have it in two separate pieces. So just grab some basic white scrap. I'm sure I've got plenty of scraps that I can put that onto. Yeah, it's a scrap piece. And I think I'm going to coordinate that with the Gorgeous Grape, because I think the Fresh Freesia might be a little bit too light. So I'm going to take that stamp out. And then, as I say, you can always add a Happy Birthday inside if you want to. So here we go. Oops, actually it's hanging off. Let's just put that back on there properly. There we go. So as I did before, a light bit of stamping, not a lot. You don't need masses. Just lightly stamp it, and then I'm going to do it slightly up to the top because then I don't have too much wastage. There we go. That's quite nice in the Gorgeous Grape. All these stamps will be able to clean those up later. It's where when you sometimes need a little assistant, you can go and do all those sort of jobs for you. So I'm just going to trim that off. I've still got plenty of space to use that for something else as well. Yeah, I like how my nails are colour coordinated with what the colours I'm using tonight. That's quite useful. I won't keep any of these tiny little pieces. And just trim that a little tiny bit off. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually just cut that in half. So I can do that one or that one. I think that one would be quite good. Just cut it in two so I can then have two like that when I come to put it on the card. So I'm collecting all these bits in one side, and that saves me having to actually stamp anything onto the circle, because what I want to do is I want to have these going across the circle like so. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use that one that's got the glue on it, so it's again a no wastage. So I'm going to glue that straight onto the circle. I'm going to put that one slightly to one side of it again with a bit of glue. So although I stamped on I put the glue on the wrong side, it actually wasn't a problem. I managed to get myself out of that little pickle. And this last one, I think I might raise that up on some very small dimensionals. So I've got some small dimensionals that I'm going to use, but I'm only going to pop it in there we go, just to give a little bit of a depth where that's concerned. Okay, so that one's going to slightly get over that way, just a tad, maybe a little bit more. Grab it before it completely glues. There we go. And then I think what I might do is get some twine. What colour twine shall I use? Actually, I might use the beige twine. There we go. Looks like I need some more twine. What I can do now is I can hook that underneath the stems. Bit fiddly, but never mind, we'll get there. I'm going to tie it first. Oh, come on. Up you come. That's it. There you go. And I can make a bow. Just make sure I cut off any excess. Don't need all that excess of twine. And then I can use a bit of a glue dot to hold that in place as well. So just trim that excess off. And if I take a glue dot, I can hold the glue dot, will hold that in place. Let's just grab a glue dot. And just pop a glue dot on there to hold that open. That's better. So now I can assemble. So my embossed piece will go on first, and that's just on with a bit of glue. And then my disc will go in the middle, and again I'm going to use a couple of larger, or the regular dimensionals. And then just pop that in there. And then I can put, so that way then I don't have to have it straight. I could have it all cockeyed if I want, but I think I'm going to glue one and then use dimensionals on the other one. So just grab the glue again. And then decision time, glue or not glue? Actually, I think not glue. I think glue rather than dimensionals, but only on the one end. Ooh, that's not a very good thing to have done. So I can do it slightly off center, and now I can use some of those gems just to add a couple of little gems to it. Okay, so I'm going to go with the darker ones. Probably only need about 3. I might put one in there, and then one over that side as well. I'll deal with repackaging that one in a minute. As we saw earlier, it was a bit of a faff to do. So it's a bit more glue in that corner, I think, so it can grip it. That's better. Now I'm going to just glue that onto the front of the card. Okay. Okay. Just emphasise that bit of a crease using my boning tool. And there we have a very simple little card using the Perennial Lavender. The embossing folder that comes with the So Softly Sophisticated. There it is. Oh no, that's the Perennial postage. Where's that one? So that's a very simple little card, just using those 3. This one from the new mini catalogue, and these were free using the Stampin' Up Celebrations So if you've liked this video, I really would appreciate your any feedback, and if you liked it really well, just click on the like button, and if you want any more information about my classes, then just drop me a message via my Facebook page, which is Pat Brackenberry Crafting Bunny, and just drop me a message and I will get back to you ASAP. But if you subscribe, that would be really appreciated as well. So thanks very much for joining me tonight, and I hope to see you again soon, and I hope you've enjoyed this quick little card. Thank you very much. Take care.